Our next guest is a talented actress you know from shows such as The Last of Us and movies like Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy, Dumbo, and Suncoast. She stars in How to Train Your Dragon, which will be in theaters and IMAX this Friday. Let's take a look.
Wait! No! Just let me...
Yes. Well done, Astrid. Please welcome back to the show, Nico Barker, everyone.
I'm so good. Thank you for having me back.
I'm thrilled to have you back, and I will tell you this movie, the Myers boys, my two sons are very excited about this film.
I mean, that's the absolute dream. I think the kids' review is the one that I'm the most anxious about.
But you have heard from some kids, yes?
I have heard from some kids. We had the premiere the other day, and afterwards we got to meet so many kids that really loved it, and I was feeling like high off of the energy of that. And then I met this one little girl, and her mum was like, tell her what you thought. And I was like, what did you think of the movie? And she was like, I preferred the animated one.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, yeah, okay. So
kids want to let you know their preferences, and that is their right. Before we talk more about the movie, the last time you were here was for The Last of Us. You played Pedro Pascal's daughter. You didn't last long in The Last of Us, but, you know.
A good 30 minutes.
A good 30 minutes. And one might say you're one of the reasons Pedro's character was such a bummer. No, but now, of course, Pedro, you know, he's had, you know, I'm always so worried, but, like, I feel like people should know.
They should know by
Yeah,
now.
he died. So my question to you is, did you continue watching the show? I think. Thank you for your almost honesty, but I think...
I haven't watched the second season because the idea of seeing him die is so deeply distressing. But I'm a huge fan of Bella and Caitlin Dever and Isabella and Gabriel and all of them, so I do want to watch it because I want to see them. But Pedro dying is just a lot. But I watched Gladiator 2 and he dies in that and I was totally fine.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Because at some point you realize, you know, they're just movies.
He's just going to keep dying. So
he's going to keep dying, yeah. So you've moved, you went from zombies to dragons.
Yes.
And again, this is a... you know, this is a beloved franchise. That's one of the reasons my kids are so excited. Was this were these movies that you saw when they were in theaters?
I didn't. I mean, the first one came out 15 years ago, so I was tiny. So I didn't see the first one in theaters, but I grew up with all of them. My dad used to read me and my sister the books to go to sleep when we were younger. So I've been in the like How to Train Your Dragon universe for a hot minute.
Obviously, a lot of CGI, but I've read a great deal about how practical sets were a really important part of the filmmaking here. So, you know, they did build all these huts. They did build...
Yeah, they did. It was I mean, despite the fact that there's a huge element of the film that is, you know, it's just CGI and whatever, the sets were totally realistic and practical to a fault, because one time me and Mason were filming in the village and we were like, it smells really bad today, guys. There's something's not right. This isn't good. And they were like, oh, look what we've done. And so we go into one of the huts and all around the hut, they had hung rotten fish everywhere. And we were kind of like, this is interesting. And then in the middle of the hut, there was a huge fan just blowing the smell into the set. And we were like, why have you done this? And they were like, just for the vibes, for the Viking vibes. So it was totally like the most...
It's so funny that they think you can fake a dragon, but you can't fake a dead fish.
Oh, but the smell of rotting
they're like, we
fish.
know you can act fighting a dragon, but nobody can pretend to smell a fish.
No, that needed to be practical.
What about stunt work? You know, whenever I see an action sequence, I'm curious, like, how much of it did you do, and how much of it did you sort of hand off to a stunt coordinator?
I did too much of it.
I'm not good. By the way, thank you. A lot of people are like, I feel like use this opportunity to be like, man, I want to do all of it, but they wouldn't let me. But I love that you're like, they were like forcing me. I didn't want to roll.
had the most brilliant stunt double, Yasmin, and the stunt department, led by Roy Taylor, was so brilliant. And so when I first got there, I was like, well, these guys are great. Like, I just was like, they'll obviously just do everything. And then once we started, they kept being like, and you'll do this, and you'll do this. And I'm just not naturally like, you know, I fall over my own feet all the time anyway. So the idea of me having to like wield an axe and run around was quite stressful. But they put me up on a 60-foot wire. And you don't realize how high 60 feet is until you get up there, and they put me up, and I remember being like, okay, this is funny, I probably can't do this, so I should just go down now. And the stunt, and Roy was like, well, there's only one way down. And so we just started filming, and then that was what they used.
You also got to go, there's a now How to Train Your Dragon, I guess a ride or an area?
A whole zone.
A whole zone, that's right. They do zones now at theme parks. But this is very exciting. You got to actually go. It must be very exciting for the people who work at the park when you show up to the actual ride that you're a part of.
It was very cool. They're really in character a lot of the time. And so as everywhere you go, they go like, hi, Vikings, goodbye, Vikings. And it's like boiling hot and we're profusely sweating. But
Did you ever say to them, like, I know you're in character, but the fish here aren't real, so I don't have any respect for you?
It doesn't smell like rotten fishes, so I just don't feel it. No, it was really, really amazing. Me and Mason, as we walked in, they were like, just so you know, we're gonna film you guys as you come in, so just like, you know, like big reactions. And we're like, okay, of course, yeah, good, big reactions, okay. And then as we walked in, we didn't quite realize how huge it is. And we both immediately became non-verbal, and we're just like, and like had nothing. And
then they were like, that's too big.
And then they're like, no,
that's
down.
too big.
We had just nothing to offer anything. But it was, I mean, if anyone can go, I would recommend it. It's really,
That's
really
fantastic.
wonderful.
Well, congratulations on the film. It's lovely to see you again. Everybody, this is Nico Parker. How to Train Your Dragon will be in theaters and IMAX on Friday, June 13th. We'll be right back with Otsko of Patsko.